Well, hello everybody and welcome to Mendel Center Connections. I'm Mike Nadolski from the Mendel Center, and today we're very happy to have with us Anna Murphy, who's President and CEO of United Way. Welcome, Anna.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, you bet. It's good to see you today, and nice to see a smile on your face.
I always have a smile on my face.
Good. So let's just start out with telling us a little bit. I think a lot of people have familiarity with United Way, but sometimes, you presume stuff and people don't really know. So what is it that you do at United Way, and what are you all about, and kind of why are you in the role that you're in? Share a little personal passion, if you would.
So that's a kind of a loaded question there. So United Way does a little bit of everything. We are not only a fundraising organization, but we are an organization that puts money back out into the community to create impact, to change people's lives. And we do this through three pillars, really: education, health, and financial stability. And so we work with corporate partners, other nonprofits, public partners, to raise those dollars, and then we utilize volunteers to help us determine where to invest those dollars back into the communities. And when I say communities, we serve Berrien, Van Buren, and Cass County. Most recently, the Cass County merge was, well, it's been almost a year now. So we serve all three of those areas. You asked why I do this work, or why?
Yeah, how long have you been at United Way now?
So I've been here for 22 years, almost
Wow.
23 in August. I know, yes,
Yeah.
I say that same thing. I've been the president now for 13, maybe 14 years. So this is the only United Way I've ever worked at. Where in the United Way world, at one time, it was not unheard of seeing people leave every 3-4 years. Well, I stayed. This is my home community. So when I was living out of the area when I came back to the area to work for United Way, and people ask me why I work for United Way. It's because we have such a great impact in our community. We can see. It's interesting when you look at some companies and they have a widget or something that they make. United Way, it's really hard to show that tangible because it's people's lives. But when we are able to tell a person's story, to share what change has happened, that's what drives this work, and that's what continues to drive me to want to be here every single day. I love what we do. And now I will probably do it until I retire, because I'm actually kind of close. I could do that at some point soon.
I know that feeling.
Yeah. Maybe not soon, but
Right. Sure.
So
it's on the horizon. Yeah.
Yeah. The first time I said the word retire, I kind of went into a depression. So I don't know, but I love what I do. I have a most incredible team that does a lot of the work that we do, and we utilize volunteers, and volunteers are awesome people.
I was looking at, yeah, we have a great volunteer corps at the Mendel Center.
Yeah.
I was looking at your website, and I was amazed to see of 25 staff members, 23 are women. So that's pretty.
Yes. So that's not that's not intentional.
Sure. Yeah.
That's a really interesting observation, because we strive for diversity in thought, diversity all the way around. Yet the folks that apply for nonprofit positions tend to, and that's research shows that it tends to be female. And when I started, my predecessor, Marty,
Sure.
he was the only male. Well, we had a labor liaison, Jerry, but then there was a period that we were truly all female. And then we had 4 men, and so it just kind of, it goes with depending on what position's open and depending on, what the need is. But we Yeah. So those, the few guys that we have right now, they're a little outnumbered.
A little outnumbered, but that's okay. That's good
Yeah, it
stuff.
is.
So
It
in,
is.
I would imagine, so here we are 3 months into this pandemic. I would imagine that your mission and your focus has been affected by that. Can you speak a little bit about what impact the pandemic has had on United Way's work and what all you're doing?
Sure. So beyond the typical, okay, organizational stuff, we have to work from home, we have to do all of that, because a lot of people have adjusted that way. And we've adjusted quite well. We were already trying to adjust to that before this hit. So that has all gone very, very well. We have great engagement and all that. The one biggest thing that I think the COVID-19 is affecting is when we look at the population that are organizations that we fund and who they serve. This pandemic that is causing this economic fallout is devastating to that ALICE population. And ALICE means asset limited, income constrained employed. And it's a population that in the United Way service area, 42% of the households were already struggling to make ends meet. And so with this, it's just it's putting more stress on those families to make ends meet. And so will this affect how we allocate funding and how we make some of those decisions? Absolutely. Long term, and we don't know what that long term looks like. That's the hard thing.
Yeah, I mean, nobody has that crystal ball figured out yet. So,
Nope. So if
you
you get
just,
that, let me know.
all right. I know you got to stick after it and just follow the data and
Absolutely.
adjust and be flexible. But so
Absolutely.
what is it that you're doing now that you would like people to be most aware of? Kind of your highest
So,
priority work.
well, sure. So, well, first, a couple things. We went into partnership right away with the Berrien Community Foundation to raise nearly $1 million in the Southwest Michigan CARES Fund. That CARES Fund is allocating dollars to organizations that serve folks that are at most need. So we had two phases of it. The first phase was really around emergency, food, personal hygiene, PPE, the protection equipment, getting people to feel safe. And now we're headed into a recovery phase. So a lot of our organizations are now seeing people that continue to need food. That is a huge need. The food need has gone up tremendously, but they're starting to see people that need support in rent, utilities, the things that they couldn't afford, or that they're trying to get caught up and just a kind of a complex situation. So we'll be releasing some dollars to a few organizations to help us do that. The other thing that we did, I think that is really important for our funded partners, we were headed into what we call an agenda for change. And that agenda is what and how we determine or how we fund the dollars that we raise. Our funded partners are on a 3-year funding cycle, and the new funding cycle was to have started kind of in at the end of this year going into 2021. And what we decided to do was to leave organizations at their current level, not go through that process yet, let them reallocate their dollars between now and the end of the year to be so that they could respond to what their needs were without us saying you had to continue doing it one way or the other, because we really want the organizations to survive. And so this was a way to really say, you are the experts in what you do. You let us know where you need to allocate those monies. We'll still track it. We'll still, ask for reporting and all of that. So the accountability is still there, but just giving them a little bit of flexibility, I think, eased some of their minds, because some of them are going to struggle. Their donations are down, or their programs aren't running, or a lot of organizations, this, our events have been canceled.
Sure.
Organizations where they're raising money, those things have been canceled. So by giving them that flexibility, we think that it just gives them a moment of breathing a little bit easier, and keeping those doors open, and getting back to then what that new normal is at some point. So we've extended that process down a little bit. And then we continue to mobilize volunteers through this. A number of organizations we partner with: Area Agency on Aging, Meals on Wheels, the county, just gearing people up to help organizations. But also we were a drop site for personal protection items. I mean, there's just been a whole myriad of things. We haven't stopped working. We've just had to
Thank
shift
goodness.
a little bit in what
Sure.
we do.
Yeah, I mean, that's such great work that United Way does, and social service organizations, the arts, small businesses are all struggling. Individuals are struggling right now. How can people help? How can people support your
So there's
endeavors?
obviously there's a couple ways. Check out the website. There's a couple things happening right now. Always the volunteer portal on the website is got a ton of listings of things to do, and that's not only for us, that's for organizations in the communities. And I think that's excuse me, I think that's really important, that not only does United Way need volunteers and support, our organizations continue to need that as well. The other thing that's going on right now is our Christmas in June. So this is, I believe, our third or fourth year. And where this has, in the past, it was a face-to-face raising food event. And obviously we can't do things face-to-face. So our team took it virtually. And it's a really cool way to buy food, and that food, those donations will go for food in our pantries. And because a lot of times, normally, a lot of times our pantries suffer with donations in the summer. They get all their donations, like at the Christmas time and stuff. So we like to fill the pantries in the summer. Without being able to do it face-to-face, we've had to obviously change it up a little bit. And on our website, it kind of shows that. But it's a really cool way. We'll still be able to support the organizations. I think within the first 2 days, we were already at $10,000. So people, I cannot say enough about this community and these communities. People have generous hearts. They understand the needs. They understand that giving is still important. And I think that's basically my message, is that we are still there. We still have to do this work. And so, that support ongoing is still very important.
So the website address is.
Yep, uwsm.org.
Yeah,
Very
absolutely.
simple.
Yeah. And then, so on the other side of all this, whether it's post-pandemic or just something in the near future, what are you most looking forward to?
People are saying when we get back to normal, and I released a piece a couple weeks ago about that. I don't think we'll ever get back to what that old normal was, and I don't want to go back to that normal. We had, our communities and in some of our areas are continuously struggling. We've got it's more than half of our third graders aren't meeting their reading proficiency, and people, 2/3 of us are overweight or obese, and all of those things are still things that we need to address. And so if there's anything that we can do to keep moving that needle and moving it in the right direction, I think that things will look completely different. Our organizations are coming together at a completely different pace. Collaborations that I've not seen are happening. These are good things, and these are the things that we all need, so that we're not divisive, but yet we're working together. It's there's a lot going on in our world, not just
Yeah.
with the pandemic.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
systemic issues are being looked at very carefully, and
Absolutely.
a lot of personal reflection and also organizational reflections are happening, and I think all that's very positive. And so, yeah, it's great. It's
Yeah,
great that
just I, there's a reason. Well, the word united is in our name,
right.
and our tagline is live united. Um, so the only way we can continue to solve the enormous amount of issues that are out there is together, is with other entities. And so I just think that this all of everything that's going on right now is forcing us to work together differently. And if we don't work together differently, we won't survive.
Yeah.
Organizations won't survive. So
Well,
I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to um, continuing to be innovative and continuing to partner and continuing to lead or convene or be a part of whatever that conversation needs to be.
oh, well said. And I'm looking forward to having you guys back in the Mendel Center with your
Yeah, us
kickoff
too.
events and
Yeah,
celebrations, and so that kind of
yeah,
return to normal, or maybe
yeah.
better than the old normal. It'd be
Well,
perfectly
yeah.
fine with me. But thank you so much for being our guest
Well, thank you.
today on Mendel Center Connections. Anna Murphy, President and CEO of United Way. Have a great day. Thanks. Bye,
Thank you.
everybody.
Take care.